I want to read a little bit of something from a speech by Martin Luther King today. From 1963, it's the I Have a Dream speech. And when I read up about this, I didn't actually realise it, but it was on the anniversary of the 100 years since the Emancipation Act in 1863, which declared that all men would be free and that all slaves would be declared free. So just to give you a bit of context. So, let us not wallow in the valley of despair, I say to you today, my friends. And so even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the colour of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I've read that today because over the last few days, when I've been doing doing Acts 7 and yesterday in Acts 10, Acts 7 was the stoning of Stephen and the effect that his death had on the new church, on the early Christians, which ultimately led to them being dispersed over the whole area in that Middle Eastern area. And with it went the message. And what I spoke about yesterday in terms of the breaking down of prejudices within the new believers, that this good news was for all people, no matter what colour, creed, background they were from. And I say it reminded me of Martin Luther King and his death in 1968. At that time, the Civil Rights Act, which would lead to much more opportunities for black people, so that you would not be able to prejudice against black people in terms of jobs, in terms of where they could go, in terms of where they could eat, and all those other things, into segregation and all that. But his death in 1968 must have been a massive blow to the African American population in America. But within a year, less than a year of Martin Luther King's death, the Civil Rights Act was made law through American Constitution. It had been what the Americans term filibustered in the Congress for 8 years, whilst the civil rights movement were campaigning for this act to come into power. Martin Luther King's death in 1968, and the following year, the Civil Rights Act was finally passed through all areas of Congress. And again, God used his death to change the public attitude in America, to change their perception of the need for civil rights. So God can use all situations, all things. And that's why I wanted to share that one with you this morning. Thanks.